Hello everyone and welcome to Semi Homesteading with Abby. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am a girl who lives in the suburbs, but I'm trying to learn as many homemaking and homesteading skills as possible. I do have 3 acres, so that's good, but I have an HOA, so it's a little limiting as to what I can do, but I'm trying to foster all these new skills like sewing and baking and making things from scratch and all of those sorts of things. So if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. It really helps me out. Also, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Today we are breaking out the bread machine again, but not for bread. I've been doing a decent amount with a bread machine. I've made a lot of white sandwich bread so far, and I also made some jam in there. But the other thing that caught my eye as I was reading through the manual and through the recipe book is that you can make yogurt. I've always wanted to make homemade yogurt, but I really hadn't researched how to do it much. So this recipe book that came with the kitchenArm bread maker really just showed how simple it is. And so today we are going to try that. So let's get right into the video and let's make some yogurt in my bread machine. Okay, so obviously first I just need to get out the machine and the recipe book. I'm gonna take out the bread pan. This is my first time making yogurt in this machine, and it says to also consult the manual, not just the recipe book, for the first time. So let me just pull that out to make sure I have all the steps right. Okay, it took me a second, but I did end up finding the manual. So there's basically a special menu on here that deals with making yogurt. It's menu number 25. So basically what you do is once you add all the ingredients to your bread pan and then add it to the bread machine, you just click the menu button until it says 25 and it knows you're making yogurt. Okay, this gave me absolutely no information. I gave it a quick read. It basically just says, yeah, like clean this out, add the ingredients, follow a recipe. This will ferment for 8 hours. You can increase or decrease that time as you need, and then you just hit start. So very, very simple. Now, the only 3 things that we need for yogurt are whole milk yogurt, and white granulated sugar. So I'm actually making the sweet yogurt. There is an option for just plain yogurt, which is literally just milk and yogurt starter. I really do not like plain yogurt. I need some sort of sweetness in there. So I'm gonna be making sweet yogurt, but then also I'm going to be adding some fruit. Now this part of it is not in a recipe, so I'm going to, make the sweet yogurt as directed, just let it ferment for 8 hours, make sure I make correct, sweet, plain yogurt. But then I always like peach yogurt. I love peach yogurt. So I wanted to add peaches. Peaches are not in season right now. I couldn't find any ripe peaches. So I just got these sliced, no sugar added peaches at the store. And my thought process is that once this yogurt is done, I can drain peaches and use my immersion blender to just really blend them up and then mix it into the yogurt that I've made. So again, I'm following the strict recipe just for the base yogurt, but then adding the fruit and flavor in, that's where I'm gonna wing it a little bit and just see how many peaches I want to add and see what it tastes like. Maybe add a little honey if it's, not sweet enough or something. So we'll kind of play around with that at the end, but I think the base yogurt is going to be extremely simple. So let's get started. I'm going to make sure this is all nice and clean and then start adding the ingredients. Okay, I take it back that I didn't learn anything from the user manual. I did learn something interesting. There's no need to have the kneading paddle in during the yogurt recipe. So you're basically just sitting everything in there and letting it ferment. Okay, so now I have the ingredients. So again, all you need is plain Greek yogurt, whole milk, and sugar. Now, 2 things here. One, I meant to get whole milk yogurt, and when I was picking up my groceries, I didn't realize that they gave me non-fat yogurt. So I'm pretty sure that will still work with the fermenting process and stuff since I do have whole milk. So we'll have to see there. The other thing is I want to eventually be able to make my own starter. But I was looking up how to actually do that because most of the recipes I saw just said, use your yogurt starter or get plain yogurt from the store and that's your starter. And I was like, surely there must be a way to make my own. And there is. However, you need raw cow's milk, and I live in Colorado and we have many laws against raw cow's milk. You can't buy it, you can't sell it. The only way to really get it is a cow share program, which is essentially like if I owned a cow and I kept it at someone else's farm, I could get the milk from my own cow. I'm quite a ways off from having my own cow, so for right now, this will just have to work, but I will link a yogurt starter recipe that was really helpful and informative in the comments below, just so that if you are in a state where you can buy raw milk or you have a cow of your own, you can learn how to make your own starter. But that's not really an option for me right now, so I am just going with store-bought. So let's get out our food scale. just because we want to be very, very accurate at this. So there's 3 options. There's 2 pounds, 1.5, and 1 pound. I think for right now, I'm gonna stick with 1.5 pounds. So what that calls for is 70 grams of this yogurt. Then we need about 3 cups of milk, so 720 grams. Now, I did not plan ahead and leave this out at room temperature, so I'm just gonna microwave it a little bit to get the milk between 68 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, I've measured out my milk, so I'm just gonna pop this in the microwave. I microwaved it for 30 seconds and it was still pretty cold, so I think another 30 seconds is in order. In the meantime, while that's going, I'm gonna add my sugar. We need 58 grams or about 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar. I don't think the order matters since you're all just kind of dumping it into one big pot. All right, there's 58 grams, and let's check on the milk. All right, I confirmed with my candy thermometer that it has hit over 68 degrees, so let's take it out and dump it in here and try not to spill anything. There's no way I'm not gonna spill something, so I'm just gonna use a measuring cup and pour some in first. Otherwise, it could be a true disaster here. All right, I think we're at the point where I can pour this in. Perfect. We're at 728 grams. So we're looking good. Now it didn't really say to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna mix this around just so, you know, the yogurt, the sugar, and the milk is all kind of more combined. That seems good. And then we're just gonna pop it right into the bread machine. Now all we have to do is plug it in. I'm just gonna hit menu until it gets to 25 and it shows up with the default time of 8 hours, and I'm just going to hit start. So that's really it. We'll check back in 8 hours and see how it's all fermented and what our yogurt looks like. Okay, it is now 8 hours later. I've completed a full work day and our yogurt has 1 minute left on it. The yogurt just finished, and from what I can tell, it looks really good. I'm gonna let it rest for just a minute while I get the peaches prepared. But I was kind of checking it out earlier and tilting the machine and stuff to see if it was liquid or if it had kind of firmed up, and it looks like it's firmed up really well. So I'm very excited that we actually have some good yogurt here. So I'm gonna open the peaches and strain them and then immersion blend them, and then we'll check on the yogurt and mix it all together. So let me dump the peaches in there. A few fell in the sink, but that's okay. And I'm gonna eat one. Gosh, eating that just reminded me, my grandma used to make me peaches and cream for dessert, and basically just take sliced peaches like this and put whipped cream on it. And it was so good. I might have to make some of that tonight as a snack. But okay, let's blend these. And actually, they're so soft that I don't even think I have to blend them. I might just crush them up with a fork maybe. I don't know, we'll see what works. Oh yeah, mashing it is definitely working well. Let me just keep mashing it, I'll just show you the end result. I wanna check the recipe book and see if there's any tips about storage for the yogurt. This says to store the yogurt in a non-corrosive bowl, we recommend glass or ceramic, cover with a preservative plastic wrap, and keep in the fridge. Because homemade yogurt has no preservatives, it will last up to 1 week in the fridge. Yogurt is made by the bacterial fermentation of milk. The bacteria are called yogurt cultures, which ferment lactose, the natural sugar found in milk. Okay, so that kind of explains how the yogurt is made. And let me show you the peaches. So mashing them up worked pretty well. There's some bigger chunks, which I never mind getting when I'm eating yogurt. So I think we're good there, and I'm just gonna transfer the yogurt into here. I got a spatula, so let's check the consistency of the yogurt because I am fascinated. Okay, well, it's a little bit liquidy still, and I'm wondering if I need to just give it a little bit of extra time to ferment, because it did say that, you know, the time is adjustable. So I don't know, I might put it in for a little bit longer. Maybe I'll give it another hour. And then in the meantime, I will just put the mashed up peaches in the fridge and honestly probably make myself some peaches and cream. So this is what it's now looking like. It's still like a bit liquidy, but it's also warm. I think I am just gonna take it out, mix it with the peaches, and then put it in the fridge overnight, and we'll see how it firms up. Okay, here's what it is looking like after I mix it. There's a good amount of peach chunks in here, so I think it'll be delicious. We can get a good amount of peaches. I guess we'll see what the texture is like once it cools down. All right, it is the next morning. The yogurt has been sitting in the fridge overnight, and so let's test it out. I'm really hoping it is good. Let's try. Okay, so here is the Tupperware of yogurt, and the biggest concern is definitely the consistency, because as we mentioned, there was a little bit of liquid on top, but this is looking good. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so it's definitely like firmed up. It's a little bit lumpier looking than, you know, store-bought yogurt and stuff, but it's definitely firmed up and looks like yogurt. Oh, let's give it the good old taste test here. Okay, that is actually really good. Honestly, with the chunks of peach, I think I like it better than the store-bought. A lot of the peach store-bought yogurt has tiny little peach chunks, or it's mostly just like pulverized into the entire flavor, like maybe they add peach flavoring. Having just the sweet yogurt with chunks of peach is actually amazing. I'm so impressed. This is definitely a success. I'm so excited. I think I'm just gonna have to make homemade yogurt from now on. I'm gonna make myself a bowl with granola for breakfast. So that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye everyone.